The Vorthak fleet approached like a wall of death. 12 massive warships, each one bigger than the captured vessel. Their hulls gleamed with weapon systems that could destroy planets. Captain Dong Wook floated in the command center, studying the tactical display. The numbers were impossible. 1 damaged ship against 12 fresh warships. No sane person would think they could win. But humans weren't always sane. "Ye Jin, can you get this ship's weapons working?" he asked. She was already deep in the alien computer systems, her engineering skills adapted to the strange technology. "Their weapons are bio-locked like everything else, but I have an idea." She pulled out a simple screwdriver and started removing panels from the control systems. "What are you doing?" Taemin asked. "Bypassing their bio-locks with manual overrides," she replied. "They made everything automatic, but manual controls always work." Jinwoo was coordinating the defense teams throughout the ship. Humans with tools stood ready at every important location. They had learned something crucial during the uprising. Alien technology was complex but fragile. Human tools were simple but reliable. "Sora, what's our communication status?" Dong Wook asked. "I'm jamming their fleet communications," she reported. "They can't coordinate properly, but it won't last long. They'll adapt." "Then we better work fast." Kyung-ho had found the ship's maintenance areas. The aliens used automated repair systems for everything. But now those systems were malfunctioning from the electromagnetic interference. "I can fix their ship better than their own technology can," he said, working with basic hand tools. "Sometimes simple is better than smart." Mi Young was in the medical bay with her daughter, but she wasn't hiding. She was studying captured alien equipment, learning how their biosystems worked. "I found something interesting," she announced over the communication system. "Their weapons have a fatal flaw." "What kind of flaw?" Jinwoo asked. "They're designed to fight energy weapons and projectiles, but they're not designed to fight tools." "Explain." "Their shields stop energy beams and bullets, but they can't stop a crowbar swung by human muscle, or a chainsaw cutting through their hull." Dong Wook understood immediately. Their defense systems don't recognize tools as weapons. Exactly. To their computers, a hammer is just a construction device. A drill is just a hole-making tool. They have no defense protocols for them. The enemy fleet was getting closer. Energy weapons were charging. But Hee-jin had good news. "I've got partial weapons control," she reported. "But more importantly, I've figured out how to use their own systems against them." She had rewired the ship's main computer using wire cutters and electrical tape. Simple human solutions to complex alien problems. "Their fleet shares a quantum communication network," she explained. "If I can overload one ship's systems, the feedback will spread to all of them." "How do we overload their systems?" Dong Wook asked. Kyung-ho held up the angle grinder. "With this. Maximum electromagnetic interference, transmitted through their own network." The plan was insane, but it might work. The first enemy ship opened fire. Energy beams lanced toward them. But Hee-jin had redirected power to the shields using a simple bypass circuit made with jumper cables. The shields held. "Now," Dong Wook ordered. Kyung-ho activated every power tool on the ship at once. Angle grinders, drills, saws, sanders, all of them running at maximum power, creating massive electromagnetic interference. Sora boosted the signal through the ship's communication array. The interference was transmitted directly into the enemy fleet's shared network. The results were immediate and devastating. The lead warship systems began malfunctioning. Weapons powered down. Navigation failed. Life support flickered. The quantum network spread the chaos to every ship in the fleet. "It's working," Taemin shouted. "Their whole fleet is going dark." But the victory was temporary. The aliens were adapting, isolating their ships from the network. They would recover soon. "We need to press our advantage," Jinwoo said. "Attack while they're confused." "Attack with what?" Dong Wook asked. "We have one partially functional ship." Hee-jin smiled grimly. "We have something better. We have human ingenuity." She had been studying the captured ship systems. The aliens used everything for single purposes. Weapons for fighting, engines for movement. life support for breathing, but humans saw multiple uses for everything. "Watch this," she said. She rerouted the ship's life support system. Instead of providing air, it now pumped out a mixture of chemicals from their cleaning supplies. Toxic gas that would disable any alien who breathed it. She turned the navigation sensors into weapons. Instead of detecting objects, they now fired focused electromagnetic pulses that fried alien electronics. She converted the artificial gravity generators into kinetic weapons. They could now grab enemy ships and smash them together like a child, playing with toys. "Impossible," whispered a captured Vorthak soldier. "You're using life support as a weapon, sensors as cannons, gravity as artillery." "That's what humans do," Kyung-ho explained patiently. "We adapt, we improvise, we overcome." The human counterattack began. Their captured ship moved through the disabled fleet like a predator among sheep. Every system had been turned into a weapon. Every tool had become an instrument of war. Dong-wook used the ship's cargo bay as a projectile launcher. He fired containers full of human tools at enemy vessels. Hammers and wrenches punched through alien hulls like bullets. Taemin turned the navigation computer into a guidance system for improvised missiles. Old oxygen tanks filled with explosive chemicals became smart bombs. Sora used the communication array to broadcast interference directly into alien brains. The bio-integrated soldiers collapsed, overwhelmed by signals their nervous systems couldn't process. Ma Young had weaponized the medical bay. Instead of healing, it now produced viruses designed to attack alien biotechnology. Their own integrated systems became their weakness. One by one, the enemy ships were disabled. Some lost power completely. Others lost navigation and drifted helplessly. A few tried to flee, but their engines had been sabotaged by electromagnetic interference. In less than an hour, 12 Vorthak warships had been defeated by one damaged cargo vessel and a handful of humans with tools. Commander Vextal, still imprisoned on the captured ship, stared at the tactical display in disbelief. "How?" he whispered. "How is this possible?" Jinwoo looked at him with something almost like pity. "You never understood what makes humans dangerous. Your technology is primitive. Our technology is adaptable," Jinwoo corrected. "Your people made everything specialized, complex, fragile. You forgot the first rule of survival." "What rule?" Kyung-ho held up his multi-tool. "The best weapon is the one that can become any weapon you need." Hee-jin was already working on the next phase. She had established communication with the remaining human colonies. "This is the Soul's Pride," she broadcast. "We've captured a Vorthak fleet using standard cargo tools, sending technical specifications now." Across human space, the message was received with amazement and hope. Colonies that had been hiding from the alien empire suddenly saw a new possibility. They didn't need advanced weapons to fight back. They had something better. They had toolboxes. Within days, the resistance began. Human cargo ships became warships. Construction tools became weapons. Cleaning supplies became chemical warfare agents. The Vorthak Empire, which had seemed invincible, suddenly faced an enemy they couldn't understand or predict. Every human tool was a potential weapon. Every human worker was a potential soldier. Beseder. Aliens had made one fatal mistake. They had assumed that complexity meant superiority, that advanced meant better. But humans knew something the aliens had forgotten. The best technology wasn't the most complex. It was the most adaptable. Dong-wook looked out at the disabled enemy fleet. Then he looked at his crew. Humans holding simple tools that had just won an impossible victory. "So what now?" Taemin asked. "Now, we go home," Dong-wook replied, "and we teach everyone what we learned." "What did we learn?" Sora smiled, holding up a kitchen knife that had helped free them all. "We learned that to humans it's just a toolkit, but to aliens," Hee-jin finished, "it's a hidden arsenal of lethal weapons." The war was far from over, but the paradigm had shifted. The Vorthak Empire would never again underestimate human creativity, and across the galaxy, humans were opening their toolboxes and getting ready to fight back, with hammers and hope. The cargo bay door slid open completely. 3 Vorthak soldiers stepped inside, their energy weapons humming. They expected to find an empty room. Instead, they found 27 angry humans holding tools. "Impossible," the lead soldier said in his grinding voice. "You escaped your cells." "We're full of surprises," Jinwoo replied, hefting his hammer. The soldier raised his energy weapon. "Surrender now. You have no weapons." Hee-jin pulled the chainsaw's starter cord. The engine roared to life. The alien stumbled backward, his compound eyes wide with shock. "No weapons?" she asked over the noise. "Are you sure?" The second soldier tried to aim his weapon at her. Kyung-ho threw his multi-tool with perfect accuracy. It struck the alien's hand and the weapon clattered to the floor. "First mistake," Kyung-ho said, picking up a crowbar. "You don't understand human tools." The third soldier fired his energy weapon at Dong-wook, but the captain had grabbed a metal trashcan lid. The energy beam bounced off harmlessly. "Second mistake," Dong-wook said. "You think we can't defend ourselves?" Jinwoo swung his hammer at the lead soldier's knee joint. The impact cracked the alien's exoskeleton like breaking glass. The soldier screamed and fell. "Third mistake," Jinwoo said. "You thought we were helpless." More soldiers poured into the cargo bay, but the humans were ready. Taemin swung a baseball bat at an alien's head. The creature's crystal-like skull shattered. Sora stabbed with a kitchen knife, finding the gap between armor plates. Mi-young used a tire iron to pry off an alien's chest armor. The battle was chaos. Energy weapons fired, but the humans moved like shadows. They ducked behind cargo containers. They used tools as shields. They fought like their lives depended on it because they did. Hee-jin charged forward with the chainsaw. The spinning blade cut through alien armor like butter. The soldiers had never seen anything like it. Their bio-integrated weapons couldn't match the raw mechanical power. Kyung-ho grabbed the angle grinder. When he turned it on, the electromagnetic interference made the aliens' equipment malfunction. Their weapons stopped working. Their communication devices went silent. "Their technology is too advanced," he yelled over the noise. "It can't handle simple interference." Dong-wook found the nail gun. He loaded it with 3-inch nails and started firing. Each nail punched through alien armor with a satisfying thunk. The soldiers tried to dodge, but they weren't fast enough. "Projectile weapons," one alien screamed. "How are they possible?" "We've been using them for thousands of years," Dong-wook replied, reloading. More aliens rushed in. But now the humans had captured some energy weapons. Jinwoo picked one up and tried to fire it. Nothing happened. "Bio-locked," he said. "Only works for them. Then we do this the old way," Mi-young said, swinging a wrench at an alien's arm. The impact broke the creature's elbow joint. The fight moved out of the cargo bay into the ship's corridors. The humans spread out, using their tools with deadly efficiency. Taemin found the ship's gravity controls. He used a socket wrench to disable the system. Suddenly, everyone was floating in zero gravity. But humans adapted faster. They had trained for space combat. The aliens flailed helplessly, unable to use their weapons properly. "Swimming in air," Sora laughed, pushing off walls with perfect control. Hee-jin used the weightlessness to her advantage. She floated above an alien and brought the chainsaw down on his back. The armor split like rotten wood. Kyung-ho discovered that the leaf blower worked even better in zero gravity. He sprayed flammable liquid through the air intake and lit it with a spark from his multi-tool. Instant flamethrower that worked in all directions. The aliens were panicking now. Their perfect technology was useless. Their bio-integrated weapons couldn't adapt to the changing conditions. But human tools worked everywhere. Dong-wook found the ship's communication center. He used a hammer to smash the complex alien equipment. Sparks flew everywhere. "No more calling for help," he said with satisfaction. Mi-young and her daughter had found the ship's medical bay. She used her scientific knowledge to analyze the alien biosystems. With a simple screwdriver, she disabled their life support monitors. "Their nervous systems are shutting down," she reported. "The electromagnetic interference is overloading their brains." In the corridor, Jinwoo faced 3 aliens at once. He had a crowbar in one hand and a tire iron in the other. The creatures thought they had him trapped. They were wrong. Jin-Woo used the crowbar as a lever to flip himself around in zero gravity. He struck one alien with the tire iron, breaking its weapon arm. He used the crowbar to pry the helmet off another. The third alien tried to flee, but Jin-Woo threw the tire iron like a spear. It struck the creature in the back, cracking its spine. Human weapons are unpredictable, Jin-Woo said to the floating aliens. That's what makes them dangerous. Sora had taken control of the ship's communication system. She used her radio knowledge to broadcast on all frequencies. The signal jammed every piece of alien technology on the ship. Total electronic warfare, she announced, using equipment they think is primitive. The battle was turning. The aliens were losing. Their advanced technology was failing them. Their bio-integrated systems couldn't handle the chaos that humans created. Commander Vexatal appeared in the main corridor. His forearms moved frantically as he tried to coordinate his troops, but his communication system was jammed. His weapons were malfunctioning. His ship was falling apart. "This is impossible," he screamed. "You are primitive. You have no technology." Hyojin floated in front of him, chainsaw in hand. "We have the best technology in the galaxy." "What technology?" Vextal demanded. "Human creativity," she replied. The chainsaw roared to life. Vextal's compound eyes went wide with terror. Around the ship, the last few alien soldiers were surrendering. They threw down their useless weapons and raised their arms. Some were unconscious from the electromagnetic interference. Others were injured by simple human tools. Kyung-ho floated over to Vextal. In his hand was a simple screwdriver. "You want to know the secret of human technology?" he asked. "It's not about complexity. It's about adaptation." He held up the screwdriver. "This tool is 5,000 years old, same basic design, but it still works. It will always work, because it's simple." Vextal stared at the tool in horror. "A piece of metal, nothing more." "In your hands, yes," Kyung-ho agreed. "But in human hands, it's whatever we need it to be." The uprising was over. The humans had won. But their real test was just beginning. Outside the ship, more Vorthak vessels were approaching. An entire fleet drawn by the distress signals before Sora jammed the communications. Dong-wook floated to a window and looked out at the approaching ships. "We've got company," Jin-Woo joined him. "How many?" 12 ships, maybe more. "Can we fight them?" Dong-wook looked around at his people. Humans holding simple tools, tired from battle but not defeated. Their eyes still held that spark of creativity that made them dangerous. "With the right tools," he said, "humans can fight anything." Hyojin revved the chainsaw one more time. "Then, let's show them what a real arsenal looks like." The uprising had become a war, and the humans were ready. Kyung-ho worked quietly on the door lock. His multi-tool had many small parts: a tiny screwdriver, thin wire cutters, a small knife blade, tools the Vorthak guards thought were harmless. The lock was electronic, but it had mechanical parts too. All advanced technology needed simple components to work. Kyung-ho understood this. The aliens did not. Click. The lock opened. Jin-Woo held up his hand. Everyone stayed quiet. They listened for guards in the hallway outside. Footsteps echoed in the distance, but they were moving away. "Now," Jin-Woo whispered. The group moved out of the holding room like shadows. Mi-young carried her sleeping daughter. The others followed in single file. They knew the ship's layout from when they were brought here. The cargo bay was 3 levels. Down. They moved through dark corridors. Emergency lights cast strange shadows on the walls. The ship hummed with alien machinery. But the humans adapted quickly. They always did. At each intersection, Tae-min scouted ahead. His young eyes were sharp in the dim light. Sora listened for sounds of approaching guards. Jin-Woo coordinated their movement with hand signals. They reached the cargo transport area. Without being seen, their luck held. The Soul's pride was still attached to the Vorthak ship. The aliens hadn't destroyed it yet. The airlock was sealed, but Kyung-ho's multi-tool worked on it too. Simple mechanical knowledge was all they needed. The aliens had made their technology too complex to be secure. They slipped aboard the Souls, Pride. The cargo bay lights came on automatically, and there it was, their toolkit, hundreds of simple human tools that the aliens had dismissed as junk. Home, Hee-Jin whispered. She had been separated from the others during interrogation, but she had escaped her cell too. Her engineering knowledge had helped her override the lock. Captain Dong-wook was with her. His face was grim, but determined. The interrogation had been painful, but it had also taught him something important. The aliens thought they knew everything about humans. They were wrong. "We don't have much time," Jinwoo said. "They'll discover we're missing soon. Then we better work fast," Kyung-ho replied. He moved to a workbench covered with tools. Hammers, screwdrivers, wrenches, pliers, simple metal tools that had served humanity for thousands of years. "Look at this," he said, picking up a claw hammer. "They think it's primitive, just a weight on a stick." He demonstrated different ways to hold it. As a hammer, it drove nails. Turned around, the claw could pry things apart. Held by the head, it became a short club. Used as a lever, it could move heavy objects. "One tool, many uses," Mi-young said, approvingly. "Exactly. Now watch this." Kyung-ho moved to the power tools. He picked up a cordless drill. The battery was still charged. They laughed at this, called it crude. But look, he changed the drill bit to a grinding disc. Now it could cut metal. He changed it again to a wire brush. Now it could clean surfaces. Another change made it a screwdriver. Then a hole saw. Same motor, different attachments, infinitely adaptable. Hye-jin was examining the welding equipment. "This torch can cut through their hull material. I saw the same metal during my interrogation. Our acetylene flame will slice right through it." Dong-wook found the nail gun. "They have no idea what this can do. To them, it's just a construction tool." He loaded it with 3-inch nails. "But it shoots projectiles at high speed. Perfect accuracy at close range." Jinwoo was thinking tactically. "We need to be smart about this. They outnumber us, but they don't understand our capabilities." He picked up a crowbar. "Leverage. This can multiply human strength by 10 times. Their armor looks strong, but applied force at the right point will crack it." Sora found the cleaning supplies. Bottles of chemicals that the aliens had called poison. "Bleach and ammonia," she said. "Separately, they're just cleaners. But mixed together, they become toxic gas," Mi-young finished. "Chemical warfare." "We're not trying to kill them all," Jinwoo said quickly. "Just escape. And maybe teach them some respect for human ingenuity." Tae-min was examining the sports equipment. Baseball bats, hockey sticks, tennis rackets. "Kinetic weapons," he said. "Simple physics. Mass times velocity equals impact force." He swung a bat through the air. The whooshing sound was satisfying. "Their exoskeletons are hard but brittle, like glass. Hit them the right way and they'll shatter." Kyung-ho had moved to the angle grinder. "This is interesting. It makes sparks when it cuts metal. But it also creates electromagnetic interference." He plugged it in and turned it on. The tool screamed to life, throwing sparks everywhere. Remember what Mi-young said about their sensitive nervous systems? This noise and these electromagnetic pulses will be agony for them. Mi-young was studying the tire iron. "Leverage again, and the shape is perfect for getting between their armor plates." She demonstrated the motion. "Slip it in here, twist, and their whole chest plate comes apart." Hye-jin found the chainsaw. Now this they definitely didn't understand. She checked the fuel tank. Still full. She pulled the starter cord. The engine roared to life, then settled into a steady growl. Portable cutting power, and the noise? She revved the engine. The sound echoed through the cargo bay. "That will terrify them," Dong-wook said with satisfaction. Sora had discovered something else. "Look at these kitchen knives. They're sharp, but more importantly, they're thin." She held up a fillet knife. "Their armor has gaps at the joints. This can slide right between the plates." "Surgical strikes," Jinwoo nodded approvingly. Tae-min was playing with a laser level. "This projects a straight line of light, perfect for aiming, or for confusing their optical sensors." The group worked quickly, turning the cargo bay into an armory. Every tool had multiple uses. Every use was a potential weapon or escape method. Kyung-ho found a leaf blower. Air movement device, but add some flammable liquid. He demonstrated by spraying some WD-40 near the air intake. Instant flamethrower. Careful with that, Hyojin warned. But she was smiling. Dong-wook discovered the socket wrench set. Look, at all these different sizes, but they're not just for bolts. He selected a large socket and attached it to the ratcheting handle. Knuckle duster, or use the long handle for extra reach. Mi-young was examining measuring tape. 30 feet of steel tape, flexible when loose, rigid when extended. She pulled out several feet of tape and locked it in place. Whip, tripwire, or cutting edge. You could strangle someone with this, Taemin observed. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Jin-woo said. Sora had found the radio equipment. Communication is key, but these can do more than talk. She adjusted the frequency settings. High-powered transmission on the right frequency will interfere with their bio-integrated systems. Jam their equipment, Hyojin said excitedly. I love it. Kyung-ho held up a simple screwdriver, and this, the most basic tool of all. He showed them the different ways to use it. Turn screws, pry things open, stab through gaps in armor, conduct electricity, jam mechanisms. One tool, unlimited possibilities, Jin-woo said. They heard footsteps. In the corridor outside. Heavy alien footsteps, multiple sets. They've discovered we're missing. Dong-wook said grimly. Good, Jin-woo replied, picking up a hammer in one hand and a screwdriver in the other. Let them come. Everyone ready? Hyojin asked, hefting the chainsaw. Around the cargo bay, humans held simple tools with deadly intent. A hammer here, a drill there, kitchen knives, tire irons, wrenches, and crowbars. To the Vorthak, these were primitive artifacts, crude technology from a backward species. To the humans, they were weapons of war. The footsteps were getting closer. Alien voices called out in their grinding language. They were searching the ship. Remember, Jin-woo whispered. They think we're helpless. They think our tools are useless. Use that. Kyung-ho smiled grimly, multi-tool in his hand. Time to show them what human ingenuity really means. The cargo bay door started to slide open. Light from the corridor spilled in. The arsenal was awake, and it was ready for war. The detention cells on the Vorthak ship were cold and dark. Captain Dong-wook sat alone in a small metal box barely big enough for his body. The walls glowed with a dim blue light. Strange symbols moved across the surface like living things. Hours passed. Maybe days. It was hard to tell time in this place. Finally, the cell door opened with a hiss. 2 Vorthak soldiers grabbed Dong-wook by his arms and dragged him out. They took him to an interrogation room. The chamber was large and empty, except for a single chair in the center. Commander Vextal waited there, his forearms moving in slow patterns. Sit, Vextal commanded. Dong-wook sat in the chair. Immediately, metal bands snapped around his wrists and ankles. He was trapped. Tell me about the rebels, Vextal said. Where are their bases? How many ships do they have? I don't know anything about rebels, Dong-wook replied. I'm just a cargo captain. I transport goods. Vextal made that grinding laugh sound. You lie. All humans lie. That is why your species is inferior. The alien commander pressed something on his wrist. Pain shot through Dong-wook's body. Every muscle tensed. He gritted his teeth but refused to cry out. The truth device never fails, Vextal said. It reads your brain patterns. I will know if you lie. The pain stopped. Dong-wook gasped for breath. Now, Vextal continued, tell me about the rebel bases. I told you the truth, Dong-wook said. I don't know about any rebels. Those people on my ship were refugees, civilians fleeing your attack. Vextal studied the device on his wrist. The symbols on it pulsed green. He looked confused. The device says you speak truth, he muttered. But this cannot be. You must know something useful. The interrogation continued for 2 more hours. Vextal, asked the same questions over and over. Each time Dong-wook gave the same answers. Each time the truth device confirmed he was not lying. Finally frustrated, Vextal had the guards take Dong-wook back to his cell. Meanwhile, in another part of the ship, Hye-jin was having her own interrogation. Her questioner was a different, Forthak, one with silver markings on his shell. "You are the engineer," he said. "You understand technology. Look at this." He showed her a holographic display of various devices. All of them were human tools from their cargo bay. "Explain how these primitive devices work," he demanded. Hye-jin looked at the images. A drill, a welding torch, a chainsaw. She understood what the alien wanted. He was trying to figure out if human tools could be dangerous. "They're just tools," she said simply. "The drill makes holes. The torch cuts metal, the saw cuts wood." "But they could be used as weapons?" the interrogator pressed. Hye-jin shrugged. "I suppose anything could be used as a weapon if you really wanted to, but these are just tools for work." The alien made notes on a data pad. He seemed satisfied with her answers. Like his commander, he didn't see any real threat in human technology. But while she answered his questions, Hye-jin was learning something important. She noticed how the alien's equipment worked. Everything was bio-integrated. The devices responded to his touch, his brain waves, even his heartbeat. The technology was incredibly advanced, but it had a weakness. It was designed only for Vorthak, biology. If someone else tried to use it, it wouldn't work properly. More importantly, she noticed something else. The alien flinched whenever certain sounds occurred. A high-pitched beep from his equipment made him shake his head. A grinding noise from the ventilation system caused his compound eyes to flutter. Their nervous systems were sensitive. Much more sensitive than human nervous systems. After several hours, they returned her to a holding area with the other prisoners. This wasn't a cell, but a large room where all the refugees were kept together. The crew members were still separated, but at least the civilians could comfort each other. Taemin and Sora were already there. They had been interrogated too, but like the others, they had been released when the aliens found they knew nothing useful. The refugees huddled together in small groups. Some were crying quietly. Others stared at the walls with empty eyes. Children clung to their parents. Jin Woo, the former defense coordinator, moved among them, offering what comfort he could. He was trying to keep everyone's spirits up, but it was difficult. Mi-young, the scientist, sat in a corner with her daughter. The little girl was asleep in her mother's arms. Mi-young stared at the ceiling, her mind working. Kyung-ho, the maintenance worker, sat near a wall examining the room's construction. His trained eye noticed every detail: how the panels were joined, where the support beams were located, what materials were used. "This isn't over," Jinwoo said quietly to the group. "They may have captured us, but we're not defeated." "What can we do?" asked an older woman. "We have no weapons, no tools, nothing." "We have our minds," Jinwoo replied. "And our knowledge." Mi-young looked up from her sleeping daughter. "I learned something during my interrogation," she said softly. "About their biology." The others gathered closer to listen. "The Vorthak have highly developed nervous systems," she explained. "Much more complex than ours. But that makes them vulnerable too." "Vulnerable how?" Taemin asked. "They're sensitive to certain frequencies, electromagnetic pulses, even specific sound waves. Their own advanced biology is their weakness." Kyung-ho nodded, slowly. "I noticed something too. Their technology is completely integrated with their biology. It only works for them." "What does that mean?" Sora wanted to know. "It means they can't adapt," Kyung-ho said. "Their tools only work one way, for one species. They can't improvise like we can." Jinwoo's eyes lit up with understanding. "They think our tools are primitive because they're simple, but simple means adaptable." "Exactly," Mi-young said. "A hammer is just a weight on a stick to them. They don't see that it can be a construction tool, a weapon, a lever, or anything else. You need it to be." Taemin looked confused. "But our tools are back on the Soul's Pride. We don't have them here." "Don't we?" Kyung-ho asked with a slight smile. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small multi-tool. The guards had missed it during their search. They looked for weapons, he said. They didn't think this was dangerous. Jin-woo examined the multi-tool. It had a knife blade, screwdrivers, pliers, a saw, and other small implements. One tool, many uses, he said approvingly. This is what they don't understand about human technology. Ma Young was thinking hard. If we could get back to our cargo, those tools could become weapons. Jin-woo finished. Not just weapons, Kyung-ho added. Escape tools, communication devices, whatever we need them to be. Sora looked around nervously. But how do we get out of here? The door is locked. There are guards. We think like humans, Jin-woo said simply. We adapt. We improvise. We use what we have. He looked at the multi-tool in his hand. Such a small thing. The aliens had dismissed it as harmless junk. They couldn't imagine how wrong they were. They think they understand us, Mi-young said. They think we're primitive because our tools are simple. But they don't realize that simple tools in clever hands can do impossible things. Around the room, the other refugees were starting to listen. Hope was returning to their faces. What's the plan? Asked the older woman who had seemed so defeated before. Jin-woo smiled. First, we get out of this room. Then we get to our tools. And then? Taemin asked. Then we show these aliens what human ingenuity really means, Jin-woo replied. Kyung-ho was already examining the door lock with his multi-tool. This shouldn't take long, he said. Their technology is advanced, but it's not designed to keep out someone who thinks differently than they do. Mi-young held her sleeping daughter closer. They made one big mistake, she said softly. What's that? Sora asked. They left us together. They didn't separate us completely, and they underestimated what humans can do when we work as a team. Jin-woo nodded. They see us as individual prisoners, but we're not individuals anymore. We're a crew, a unit, a family. The sound of Kyung-ho's multi-tool working on the lock was barely audible, but to the prisoners it sounded like hope. Outside their holding room, Vorthak guards patrolled the corridors. They were confident in their superiority. Their prisoners were harmless humans with no weapons and no technology. They had no idea that the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy was about to be unleashed. Human creativity. Captain Dong-wook stared at the massive alien ship blocking their path. The Vorthak vessel was 10 times larger than his cargo transport, Seoul's Pride. Its dark metal surface gleamed with strange lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. They're hailing us, Captain, said Sora from her communication station. Her voice was steady, but Dong-wook could see the worry in her eyes. Put them through, he replied, settling into his captain's chair. The main screen flickered to life. A tall, insect-like creature appeared. Its body was covered in a hard shell that looked like black crystal. 4 arms moved in quick, jerky motions. 2 large compound eyes stared at them without blinking. Human vessel, the alien spoke in perfect Korean, its voice like grinding metal. I am Commander Vextal of the Vorthak Empire. Prepare for inspection. You will comply. Dong-wook kept his face calm. This is Captain Dong-wook of the Seoul's Pride. We are a registered cargo vessel on a legal trading mission. The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. All human ships must be inspected. You carry contraband. We know this. We carry only trade goods and supplies, Dong-wook said firmly. We will see, Vextal replied. The screen went dark. Hyejin looked up from her engineering console. Captain, they're jamming our communications. We can't send any messages out. Taemin, the young navigator, checked his instruments. They've locked a tractor beam on us. We can't move. Dong-wook nodded. Slowly. He had expected this. The Vorthak Empire had been stopping human ships for months, looking for any excuse to cause trouble. Everyone stay calm. Let them inspect. We have nothing to hide. But that wasn't entirely true. Hidden in the cargo bay were 23 refugees from Busan Colony. The Vorthak had attacked the small human settlement 3 weeks ago. These people were all that escaped. The ship shuddered as the alien vessel attached to their docking port. Heavy footsteps echoed through the corridors. The inspection team had arrived. Dong-wook met them at the airlock. Commander Vextal entered first, followed by 6 other Vorthak soldiers. They were all tall, at least 8 feet high. Their insect-like faces showed no emotion. Each carried a weapon that hummed with energy. "Show us your cargo," Vextal demanded. Dong-wook led them to the main cargo bay. The large room was filled with metal containers and boxes. Tools hung on the walls. Equipment was stacked in neat piles. One of the soldiers opened a container. Inside were hammers, screwdrivers, wrenches, and other hand tools. The alien picked up a hammer and examined it closely. "What is this primitive device?" he asked. "A hammer," Dong-wook replied. "For construction work," the soldier made that grinding laugh sound again. "Humans still use such crude tools, pathetic." Another soldier found a box of kitchen knives. He held one up to the light. "Sharp metal? How barbaric." "We use energy to cut." Vextal walked among the cargo containers, his forearms moving constantly. He picked up different items, a chainsaw, a drill, a welding torch. Each time he shook his head in disgust. "Look at this junk," he said to his soldiers. "Metal tools. Chemical fuels, mechanical devices, no wonder humans are so backward." Hee-jin watched from the doorway, her hands clenched into fists. These aliens thought they were so superior with their advanced technology. But she knew something they didn't. Human tools were simple, yes, but they were also reliable. And in the right hands they could do amazing things. One of the soldiers found the sports equipment. Baseball bats, hockey sticks, tennis rackets. He picked up a bat and swung it clumsily. "What is the purpose of this stick?" he asked. "It's for a game," Taemin explained. "Humans play sports for fun. You hit things with sticks for entertainment?" The soldier seemed confused. Most strange, Vextal moved to a section where cleaning supplies were stored. Bottles of chemicals, brushes, and soap. He opened one bottle and smelled it, then jerked back. "These chemicals are dangerous," he said. "Why do you transport poison?" "Therefore, cleaning," Sora said. "We use them to keep things clean." "You clean with poison?" Vextal shook his head. "Humans are even more foolish than we thought." The inspection continued for 2 hours. The aliens examined every tool, every piece of equipment. They laughed at the simple mechanical devices. They mocked the crude chemical compounds. They couldn't understand why humans needed so many different tools for different jobs. "In our empire," one soldier said, "we have one device that does everything. Multi-purpose biotech. Much better than this junk." "Each tool does one thing well," Hee-jin said quietly. "That makes them reliable." "Reliable?" Vextal turned to look at her. "Our technology never fails. It is perfect." Hee-jin said nothing, but she thought about all the times alien technology had broken down. Their perfect devices were too complex. When they failed completely. Human tools were different. Simple. Strong. They kept working even when everything else stopped. The aliens finished their inspection of the main cargo area. Then Vextal turned to Dong-wook with a cruel smile. "Now we search the rest of your ship," he said, "including the crew quarters." Dong-wook's heart sank. The refugees were hidden in a storage room near the crew quarters. If the aliens found them, it would mean death for everyone aboard. "That's not necessary," Dong-wook said. "You've seen our cargo manifest. Everything is accounted for." "We decide what is necessary," Vextal replied coldly. "You humans lie. We know you help rebels. We know you hide fugitives." The alien commander's compound eyes glittered with malice. "Search every room," he ordered his soldiers. "Look behind every panel. Check every storage space." As the soldiers spread out through the ship, Dong-wook caught Hee-jin's eye. She nodded slightly. She understood. If the aliens found the refugees, they would all be arrested, taken to prison ships. Many would die. The sound of searching echoed through the ship. Metal doors opened and closed. Equipment was moved around. The Vorthak were thorough. Then came the sound Dong-wook had been dreading, a shout of discovery from one of the soldiers. "Commander, I found something." Vextal's head snapped up. His forearms moved in excitement. "What is it?" A hidden compartment, with humans inside. Vextal's cruel smile grew wider. Bring them to the cargo bay. All of them. Within minutes, 23 frightened people were herded into the cargo bay, men, women, and children from Busan Colony. They looked tired and scared. Some were injured from their escape. Well, well, Vextal said, walking among the refugees. What do we have here? Criminals? Rebels? Fugitives from imperial justice? An older man stepped forward. His name was Jin Woo, and he had been a defense coordinator on Busan Colony. We are not criminals, he said firmly. We are refugees. Our colony was destroyed. We seek only to reach safety. Your colony resisted the Empire, Vextal replied. That makes you all rebels. The penalty is death. A woman named Mi Young held her young daughter close. She was a scientist who had studied alien biology. She knew exactly how dangerous the Vorthak could be. Please, she said, the children are innocent. Let them go. Innocent? Vextal laughed, that grinding laugh. Human children grow up to be human adults. The Empire has no use for any of you. He turned to his soldiers. Prepare the detention cells. We will take all these humans back to the nearest Imperial base for processing. Dongwook stepped forward. You have no right to take civilians prisoner. We have every right, Vextal replied. You are harboring fugitives. That makes you criminals too. The alien commander gestured to his soldiers. Arrest them all. Separate the crew from the passengers. Put them in different cells. As the Vorthak soldiers began to herd the humans toward the exit, Vextal took one last look around the cargo bay. All those primitive human tools. All that crude technology. Soon it would all be destroyed, along with this pathetic ship. But he didn't notice Kyung-ho, a maintenance worker who had been quietly examining the tools while the aliens searched the ship. Kyung-ho understood something the aliens didn't. Every tool in this cargo bay was a weapon waiting to be used. The aliens saw junk, he saw possibilities. As they were marched away to the alien ship, the humans shared worried glances. But in their eyes was something the Vorthak couldn't recognize. It was determination. And hope. The inspection was over. But the real story was just beginning.